Yo, JBlanked here. You got your hands on this awesome retro handheld, the PicoCalc, and you're ready to make it do stuff. You want to write some code, get your ideas on the screen, but you've probably hit that first big question. Okay, where do I even start? Now, you might know the PicoCalc boots up in a language called MMBasic, but if you're coming from the world of web development or just want to use a more modern language, your goal is probably Python or JavaScript. And that's a perfect goal because there's a fantastic project called Kaluma that lets you run JavaScript directly on the Raspberry Pi Pico inside your PicoCalc. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get from zero to that exact blinking light using JavaScript and the Kaluma runtime. If you're new to coding on hardware, but you're comfortable with JavaScript, this is the perfect first step. We'll get this hello world for hardware done and dusted, and you'll have your first win in just a few minutes. So what's the deal with Kaluma? Think of it as a tiny, super efficient JavaScript engine designed specifically for microcontrollers like the Raspberry Pi Pico. It's built on a project called JavaScript, and it's powerful enough to give you an event loop and a module system that feels a lot like Node.js. But it can run on a device with just a few kilobytes of RAM. The best part is that it allows you to use your existing JavaScript skills to control physical hardware. Instead of learning a new language from scratch, you can jump right in with concepts you already know. The trade-off is that it requires a one-time setup to replace the default MMBasic, but once that's done, you'll have a direct path to running JavaScript on your device. Well, to get JavaScript running, we first need to install the Kaluma firmware. Head over to their GitHub page, I put the link in the description, and then go to Releases. Scroll down to 1.2.1 and you'll see the UF2 files. From here, you want to download the one for your specific Raspberry Pi Pico. So if you have the Pico 1, you use the Pico variant. If you have a Pico W, the Pico W variant. Pico 2, the Pico 2 variant, and Pico 2W, you use the Pico 2W variant. Now we need to put the PicoCalc into bootloader mode. Turn it off and then flip it over to the back. Now, while holding the boot select button on your Raspberry Pi Pico, connect a micro USB cable to your computer and to the Raspberry Pi Pico itself. Once a new drive is recognized on your computer, you can let go of the boot select button. When you do this, your PicoCalc will show up on your computer as a small USB storage drive, probably named RPI-RP2 if you have the Pico 1 or RP2350 if you're using the Pico 2. Finally, just drag and drop the UF2 file onto that drive. The drive will automatically disappear and your PicoCalc will reboot with Kaluma firmware installed. Alright, time for the fun part, controlling hardware with JavaScript. For this project, we're going to keep it simple and use the LED that's already built right into the Raspberry Pi Pico board. That means you don't need any extra components at all. Now on your computer, make sure you have Node.js installed as we'll need it for the next step. When you have that installed, open your terminal or command prompt and install the Kaluma command line interface or CLI by typing npm install-g at kaluma/CLI. With the CLI installed, create a new file on your computer named index.js and open it in your favorite text editor or code editor. We're going to write a little JavaScript program to make that onboard LED blink. The exact code you need depends on whether your PicoCalc uses a standard Pico or Pico W board. If you have a Pico or Pico 2, use this code. I put a link to this in the description below. If you have a Pico W or Pico 2W, the onboard LED is controlled via the wireless chip, so the code is a bit different. In both cases, we're using set interval to run a function every 1000 milliseconds or once per second, which toggles the LED on and off forever. To get this code onto your PicoCalc, copy and paste the code into the file we created and then save the file. Now within the terminal, we just run the command Kaluma flash index.js. The CLI will find your PicoCalc, upload the code, and just like that, you should see its onboard LED blinking. You just ran a JavaScript program on your PicoCalc. If you got your LED blinking with JavaScript, definitely hit that like button and let me know down in the comments. It's a huge first step. And while Kaluma doesn't yet have built-in support for the PicoCalc's specific screen and keyboard, this is the foundation for any custom JavaScript project you want to build. If you want to see more hardware projects, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video in the series. And just like that, you've programmed a piece of hardware using JavaScript. You took a language usually meant for web browsers and used it to control a physical object, writing a real program that runs a microcontroller from scratch. You've taken the most important step in your coding journey. You actually started. You now have the first big win you need for countless other projects. You've kicked off your JavaScript hardware adventure, and it's only going to get more exciting from here. I'm JBlanked. Thanks for watching. Peace.